Having more than one woman is something that we used to do as men, like way back in history, right? It was normal. It was a normal thing. But here, being in this time, we're in a time where being a polygamist is not looked at as a good thing from men and women. Like they frown upon it. But we still, as men, have these desires to have more than one, and it's constant. I'm gonna make this clear that having more than one woman or having a relationship, more than one relationship, is different from having more pussy. The difference is one you're gonna have to take care of. The other one you just hit and you leave. You know what I mean? That's the difference. That's not what I'm talking about here. You still got dudes who are constantly, having side chicks or mistresses, and it is killing us as a people. It is killing us as a people. So I think as men, we need to get to a point where we are able to maintain more than one woman. And I came up with three things that what you need to have before having more than one woman. So it's 3 reasons. The first thing, you have to accept the fact that you want more than one woman. Like I said, we live in a time where that stuff is frowned upon. It's not accepted in the society, so therefore in our psyche, it's not accepted. But it is, some of us, it's in our, it's just in us. It's a part of us. It's like a limb that we gotta have another woman. And a lot of times, it's not just for sex. It's not just for sex. It's just having having another woman to talk to. She's giving to you something that this other woman isn't. There was this song back in the 80s. I want to say late 80s, early 90s, called "Which Girl Will I Choose?" Chris Bender, I think it was. That song, that's my song. It was my song then. In the song, one girl is providing his physical needs, and the other girl provides for him mentally. And it balances him out. It makes him a better person. So a lot of times we get into these relationships and she ain't giving us what we need. And a lot of times you don't even know what you need. But when you meet this other chick, she's giving you that other part of what you need, and you feel like a whole person. So you have to come to a point where you accept that. And through your acceptance, you start to be honest with yourself, and you also have to be honest with the women that you're dealing with. And I said that, it's killing us because, men are going out having other relationships, having side chicks and stuff. And it's killing us because it's hurting the women. And those women have to raise our kids, have to raise our daughters. So, like our daughters are hearing and seeing these women being hurt by this. So they grow up with this distrust for men. And I think that's what happened to the women already. Like they grow up with this distrust because we're not being honest that we want more than one woman in a relationship. Now, I will say that, and when you start accepting it and you start being honest with yourself and you start being honest with the women in your life, it's going to cause some issues, which comes to my next one. And my next point, number 2, is you have to learn to love solitude. People don't understand when I say this. Having more than one woman is a lonely life because you're always dealing with someone's emotions. You're constantly feeding into someone and you never have time for yourself. Having time for yourself is healthy. You have to take time for yourself. And having more than one woman, you're going to need to think. You're going to need to have time for yourself. That's one reason. The second reason is once you start being honest about how many women you want, that lady that you're with could leave you. You could start with 2 or 3 women and they could just get up and leave you one day. That can't break you down. It can't kill you. As a man, you have to keep going. You have to keep going. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt, but you put yourself in a place where it's going to hurt you, but you're able to keep going. You're confident enough to keep going and start over again. So coming to my third point, we're going to call this decontrol. You have to learn to control your sexual desires. Now, a lot of dudes want more than one woman because they want more sex. They're high in sexual nature. They have a high sex drive. So It is normal, to get another woman so that you can fulfill those desires. Or sometimes you just, you want different. You want a different variety to have. And that's, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. But you still need to control your sexual desires so you don't go on the outside of your women and do that. I mean, we know. I mean, there's, diseases out here. Child support is killing us. It's healthy as a man, like for real, on some grown man shit, to control your sexual desires, for real. See, a man can bust a nut and get out of there, right? But once you have sex with a woman, this woman becomes dependent on you for three things. It's either a monetary help, you help her with some money, it's spiritual guidance, or you have to give her some emotional support. And it may be all three, and it may be one of these things. But if you don't provide for her for, those three, at least one of those three things, that's where crazy comes in at. That's where she, bust your windows out your car and, try to make your life miserable. You control that by controlling your sexual desires. Yeah, you control that by controlling your sexual desires, man. Like, we have to stop being led by our little head. We gotta, just because we're turned on or we want to have sex, not necessarily we have to. As men, we have to look at the whole situation. After you finish this sex, then what? What's gonna happen after that? You know what I mean? Like, we have to start thinking towards the future. But the things we think about as men, most of us, we're thinking about, how that ass look from behind. You know what I mean? Like, we can't get past the sex, and we have to. For us to become better, we have to get past the sex. So that's three things that I think will help you if you decide that you want to have more than one woman. Because I'm thinking back to it, and I've been, married successfully to two women for years now. And I think back at it, those are the things that I had in line, like I had already in place. So, I hope it helps, man. I hope it helps. And like I say, man, like, if this is a life that you want to do, you're going to be, it's a lonely life. It's a lonely life. You know what I mean? And so if you don't want to lose that chick that you would already, don't even step to the plate, man.